Not since Antonino said that I'm Ready Jet was better than Dance Craze have we heard such a stunning revelation. Welcome to Burning Questions. We always bring the heat. Andy's making me smile even before I go on air. I love it. He's got many different expressions. You should have been an actor, Andy. You've got a beautiful, expressive face. We're bringing even more heat, though, here. Andy Gath joined by Emma Stewart. So this is going to be hot. This is going to be frenetic. I'm looking forward to it. Em, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Are you going with some sort of double cap situation? Is it a beanie with a cap? Like, there's a lot going on. A lot of accessories. Is it a scarf? Is it a turtleneck? It's a lot. I
do live in Ballarat, even though it's spring.
That's true. Spring probably hasn't sprung in Ballarat. How are you, Andy? And I didn't know Hugo Boss made little jackets like that, but apparently they do.
Yeah, no, this was specially made for me.
Just to fit your dimensions. And Skeeter, how are you today?
Going well, thank you, Bon. Ready to get stuck into it.
As much as we love doing this, we shouldn't forget our sponsors. Whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables, you want your staff to look their very best, and you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They have you covered for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. They were good enough to send us all that material. Are you wearing yours, Skeeter?
Yep, got it on.
Yep, you're conscientious. That's something probably I haven't been accused of. Right, the first question of the burning questions will go to you first, Emma, because Masucci. I said in the form guide, how do we solve a problem like Masucci? If harness racing was a musical, that would be the lead song. She's got the pole marking draw here. Grades above the rivals this week, or is it a little bit of a concern there? I thought the pole marking draw. What's the gate speed like? What have you got in the locker?
She came out pretty good at the trial, so I'm not too concerned. I would have rather not drawn one, but I don't know whether I should be more concerned that Andy's pinched my driver, so that might be my biggest concern.
So are you thinking, like, I know there's bigger fish to fry, but are you thinking that she'll be able to hold her own and lead or be behind leader, or are you sort of like whatever happens? She's got a long career ahead of her, and if she ends up getting 3 back the pegs here, so be it.
Yeah, no, we'll be trying to go forward and hopefully the lead or behind leader. So, yeah, no, we're definitely trying to lead.
All right, let's have a talk to the thief. Andy, you've done the wrong thing, and it's a bit awkward already in these burning questions. But tell me, what do you think? I think there's problems there, because if I was on Chizzy, I'd try and cross, and then I'd hand straight up to Zigzag Zoo just to make sure Masucci's right out of play if at all possible, because I think she'll be beating me if I didn't do that. What are your thoughts?
That's a good plan. I think Kate wanted to drive the other one, but I had to hold a gun to her head to drive Zigzag. Masucci didn't show much gate speed in New Zealand, but that's a little bit irrelevant. I think once they crossed the ditch, and I thought she left the gate pretty good at the trials, but Chizzy and Zigzag Zoo are really 2 fast horses off the gate, and I think one of them or both of them might get across her. She's done a good job here, Masucci, since she's been here, but she hasn't beat any quality horses yet. But I thought the trial on Monday night was probably the best she's found the line, so she's definitely going to be hard to beat, but I think she's going to be buried away somewhere on the fence.
Skeeter, I think she's better than them personally, or will be in time. But as I say, I think we've got problems from that draw.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting start, isn't it? So I really like that trial that Andy just referenced. I thought she looked really good. We obviously haven't seen her from a frontline draw at all here in Australia, only having the 3 starts and 2 of them being from the stand. So it is going to be interesting. She did lead that trial. If she can kick up enough to be behind the leader, I think she's absolutely the one to beat. Even from 3 fence, she's still a great winning chance because she does look like a really progressive mare. So I think she is the one to beat, but things become a little bit more difficult if she doesn't have enough gate speed to sort of kick up and hold a forward enough position, that's for sure.
There's no doubt about that. Question 2 of today's burning questions. Heavy hitters Emma Stewart, Andy Gath, Nikkita Ross in the house, is brought to us by the Fresh Connection. They export Australian fresh fruits in more than 35 countries. Headed up by Damien Glengarry, who is the export manager, we know this, and does a magnificent job, just if you didn't know. The Fresh Connection specialise in citrus, table grapes, cherries and mangoes. Freshconnection.com.au. Emma might be interested in the answer to this question from the remaining experts, or she might just think, I don't care about your opinion. We'll find out soon. Andy, does Major keep the front in the Gold Sovereign final just as he did at heat level, or knowing that was a little bit unsuccessful? I think he and Muscle Bart are probably the quickest beginners, but you might have a say in this because you've got a seemingly very talented horse in this race. I thought that Catch a Wave might be will lack the ring craft at this stage of his career to get involved early? What's going to happen?
Yeah, the first trial we gave him, he actually led in his trial. And then he had another trial and we decided to go back. And the first race that we gave him, we put blocks on him for the first time and didn't really know what to do out the gate. But any juvenile having their first start can break 55 home, and 27 home is obviously well above average. So I think, he's as good as juvenile I've had my hands on for a long time. And whether he's got gate speed or not, I still think he's the one to beat. I know Emma's horse went terrific first up, but I just love this horse. I don't really talk up my horses, but I think this is one that's really going to be, horse of the future. And, we just love him. And whether he shows the gate speed or not, time will tell.
Jeez, that was unexpected. You go into a movie, you expect to see a certain plot line. So what's the go here? Tell me this. How did he go around $16?
I don't know. I backed him at $10. Then $12 and $14. It kept drifting, but
you're putting $3 bets on. What's going on? Like, are you short on? You've been tipping well.
I'm still counting it.
Jeez, they profile you and didn't respect your money. Them's fighting words about Catch a Wave. I reckon Muscle Bart's pretty good as well, though.
Yeah, but I have to agree with Andy. I really like his horse, and I know Kate's got a big opinion of him, so he's definitely the one to beat. And I think ours has just got experience on his side, so fingers crossed that plays to our advantage.
Are you confident you'll be finding the front?
No, I'm not confident, and I'm not fussed if we do or we don't. It's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I'm just going to go home and change the form guide. I'll be back to finish burning questions in a moment. I've got Muscle Bart on top as one of the best. I think he might have been Skeet, I think we've been told. I don't know what you thought before this conversation, but I've certainly got a different opinion than when I started the conversation.
Yeah, look, before the conversation, it has cemented my opinion, I suppose. Before the conversation, I thought Muscle Bart was probably too short. I think $1.75 he is. And I thought from that draw, I thought he was probably far too short, really, just considering I don't think he will find the front. I think he'll have to probably go back or do some work at some point. So Major obviously wouldn't hand up last week to the short price favourite, so I couldn't see him doing it this week. And then that was a really impressive first up victory by Catch a Wave as well. So look, I thought Muscle Bart, as nice a horse as he looks, he was probably too short at those odds.
The last time I changed my tip just before a race, the one that I originally had on top one. So I'm not going to change. I just might change a little bit of the vitriolic stuff about Catch a Wave in the form guide. That'll be fine. Is there any world or dimension where Tough Tilly topples the arch nemesis Ladies in Red, Em? It's amazing. Tough Tilly is probably the most popular pacer in the country, but Ladies in Red's got such glamour about her that I think she's got nearly as many fans. It seems like Ladies in Red just has to win this race because of the differential in the draw. But how close are they? And is there a world where Tough Tilly can win?
Oh, if Ladies in Red fell over, I think she probably could, but I don't see her doing that, and I don't see her beating her this week. I think because she's drawn to be in front of her, I don't think there's any possible chance. Although I would like to see Tough Tilly win, I can't see it happening.
If she falls over at any point, Em, they're going to play this video for weeks and months. I mean, let's keep our fingers crossed. There's no falling for Ladies in Red. I agree with that. I threw the question in, Skeeter, because, we needed to talk about this race in some way, shape or form, but Ladies in Red's over the line, isn't she?
I think so. It looks like that. She's going to be in front of Tough Tilly the whole way, isn't she? You would think. So it just looks hard. I think there will be a time. We have seen it once in their 6 clashes. And given that Tough Tilly can run such enormous sectionals, I think there will be a time where Ladies in Red, just can't get to her. But this week, it definitely looks like Ladies in Red's race.
Will she have to do it slightly tough again, Andy, or now after what aliens exist, what Snooze saw last time, you'll just say, I don't think I'll park you again. I might just let you roll to the top and see if I can run second?
Well, even if Snooze does park her, Sal can sit there really quiet, and if Tough Tilly comes, you'll just be able to kick up and find the lead anyway. So, she got all the favourites on the draw. They're both outstanding fillies. We all love the course that Tough Tilly races for and for Tilly Wilkes and everything, but you couldn't see Ladies in Red getting beat this time. But again, they're going to have plenty of great clashes going forward, and it's all going to get down the barrier draw, I'd say, each time.
It's one of those funny ones, isn't it? It's going to be 6-1 for Ladies in Red, but it doesn't tell the full story. So I'm just hoping, wouldn't it have been great one more nomination? Couldn't you have thrown something in there, Andy, because it would have been great if they were drawn 8 and 9 and Ladies in Red was 8 and Tough Tilly was 9. Anyway, I'm living in an imaginary world as per usual. Question 4 is sponsored by Felvo Fruits. They're specialists in table grapes, Andy's favourite. Since the 1960s, Michael and Josie Falvo are keeping the tradition going, which I love, and everyone loves their grapes. Keep an eye out for Falvo fruits. You know you love them. Andy, do Tango Tara primarily for you and or Enchanted Stride rail and race for luck or come off at the start? It's always a vexed issue, isn't it? Whether you should just follow through and race for a bit of luck, but I guess Ballarat plays into the situation because you're less chance of getting out with no sprint lane, as we know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Personally, I can speak for my own horse, Tango Tara. I say he'll be getting off. Our main danger is drawn alongside us in Mac Dan, and he's got the advantage of the barrier draw, and he'll probably be off and running around him before we, get an opportunity. Even though Sicario's got good gate speed, I'm guessing they might look to hand up if they got a little bit of pressure. So we don't really want to be sort of three fence, and we're trying to push our chance to get into the Victoria Cup. So we're going to have to not rely on luck and just rely on our own ability and sort of force the issue a little bit. So he'll be getting off, but I think Enchanted Stride might stay there. Being 1,700, I think it just might take the option of staying behind the leader and race for a little bit of luck.
Now, just so my great mate Paul Oxenford isn't the medium of a barraging phone call by Andy Gath, who we now have found out owns a gun because he's putting it to people's heads, frightening stuff. What does Tango Tara have to do to get into the Victoria Cup in your mind? So I think winning this week is a near must, and then probably something on top.
Probably winning the Kilmore Cup next week might get him in.
Yeah, that'd be right. That'd be correct. Emma, what are your thoughts? Well, we know Tango Tara probably gets off, but you've got Mac Dan in the same race. How highly are you rating Mac Dan this preparation, and particularly going into this first up run? I think he's the one horse in the race that probably is near a short of a Vic Cup berth already.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and I think he's come back a little bit better this time in. He's a lovely horse. He sort of flies under the radar a little bit because he's a little bit plain and only sort of does what he has to do. But we'll sort of be on our bikes hopefully long before Andy is.
Do you expect to win the race, or will you be happy if you just run a great race and move forward with the preparation?
No, he's there to win, and I think he's working good enough to win. His trials have been good, and he'll be getting driven to win as well.
And what do you think? Is it more over a mile? Is that when it gets more tempting? It is, isn't it? I guess the short course trips with Enchanted Stride to follow through and race for luck, because it's so hard to get off and then come wide in those races.
Yeah, especially at Ballarat, you just got to hope that they fan at the top of the straight, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I think over the short, you sort of got to chance your arm and stay the fence.
How did you map them, Skeeter?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Anywhere else, I probably have different thoughts, but I do think Sicario probably tries to lead because there's nothing really on that front line that I thought they would maybe want to hand up to. Has been trialling pretty well, so I do think Sicario will be in front. But you've just heard straight from Andy that Tango Tara will be off the fence, and as I said, I think Ballarat with no sprint lane makes all the difference. Enchanted Stride, though, look, I really like her, and I think she's got a great chance, but it just does make me a little bit nervous because I do think they will stay on the fence with her. We've seen her at her past couple flashing home late along the inside, but she's quite often driven for that bit of luck. So look, I think she is the one to beat, but she's going to need a bit to go her way from potentially 3 pegs and no sprint lane.
Those mares races have been chook raffles of late, so I'm playing the field in the quaddie. Anything can win, I reckon, but I do think Enchanted Stride will follow through. And obviously, Andy's already told us, and I already thought that Tango Tara would get off at the start. Time for the best bets. Emma Stewart, you can say anything apart from ladies in red or about time, because my best bet is one in about time's race. It's about time, isn't it? I can tell by the smile on your face. What's your best bet, Emma?
About time.
Oh dear. Just flying?
Yeah, he's a lovely horse, and he's a great worker at home. So his trials have been good, and I just think he's ready to win.
I'll say a few things in a moment. If you could just block your ears while I'm talking, that'd be fantastic. Skeeter, what's your best bet on the card?
Well, I was thinking about going about time, as I alluded to you last night, Bon, but I changed my mind actually, and I was going with Mac Dan. So I don't know how I feel about that now, but I just think that he'll be in front of Tango Tara and has been trialling well. So I think he looks the one to beat this week.
I'm going head-to-head with Emma Stewart, which is a very, very unwise thing to do, but I'm going Spring in His Step as my best on the card. I just reckon About Time is a better horse in front, and maybe that dramatic move, and maybe Lee Sutton can get caught napping with Spring in His Step. But I thought He's a superior horse in front, and I thought Spring in His Step would be there. So I'm going Spring in His Step as my best on the card. Andy, the pressure's building. You were on such a hot streak. You were burning. There were flames around you on the burning questions. You need one a little bit here. What have you found for us?
Yeah, I keep tipping other people's horses and they keep letting me down. They can't handle the pressure, except for M, of course. You know, tip one of hers, named after me, but I'll stick with one of mine. I got to go Catch a Wave. I can't give him the beat up that I did and not tip him. So Catch a Wave for me.
Yeah, and you've certainly swung me. Not since Anton Galino said that I'm Ready Jet was better than Dance Craze have we heard such a stunning revelation on any media platform in Victoria. Hey, I know you're a very busy woman, Emma, so thanks for joining us.
No worries at all.
Andy, it's good to see you again.
Pleasure, as always.
And see you, Skeet. I'll catch up with you again very soon. We'll be doing the Friday form panel tomorrow.
Sounds good, Bon.
That's been Burning Questions, otherwise known as the Catch a Wave Show. Go and get your surfboards, kids, and we'll join you again next week.